The greatest sadness of Keith Richards' life was the death of his son Tara Joe Gunn in 1976, when he was just 2 months old, which left a hole in his heart that never healed. Born in Dartford, Kent, on 18 December 1943, Richards grew up in a working-class family, with his father, Herbert William Richards, a factory worker, and his mother, Doris Maud Lydia, a music lover. Tara, his youngest child with his partner, Anita Pallenberg, was born during the height of the Rolling Stones' career, but also a turbulent period of drug addiction. Richards remembers the moment he received the news of Tara's death from sudden infant death syndrome while he was in Paris preparing for a European tour. He collapsed on the floor of his hotel room, sobbing, feeling as if his world had collapsed. He said in his 2010 autobiography, "Life, that he could not cope with the pain, and that the guilt of not being there for Tara in her final days haunted him." He cried every time he saw the small crib that Anita had prepared for Tara, now empty in their Chelsea apartment. This sadness deepened as he struggled with heroin addiction, which made him wonder if his lifestyle had contributed to the tragedy. He wept while writing Wild Horses, a song he wrote while in rehab in 1972, thinking about Tara and what he had lost. Even after the passage of time, he still wept when talking about Tara in a 2023 interview with Howard Stern, saying it was a pain that never went away. He turned the pain into motivation, focusing on his music and family. But Tara was always present in his sad songs. Keith Richards' career has been a journey of more than 6 decades, with great success, bitter failures, and struggles that left him crying with passion and pressure. Richards fell in love with music at a young age, when his grandfather Augustus Theodore Gus Dupre, a jazz musician, gave him his first guitar. He grew up in Dartford, studying at Dartford Technical School and Sidcup Art College, but dropped out in 1962 to pursue music. He met his school friend Mick Jagger on a train platform in 1961, and with Brian Jones, Bill Wyman, and Charlie Watts, formed the Rolling Stones in 1962. The band released the single Come On in 1963, but real success came with The Last Time in 1965, which reached #1 in the UK. The song, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, for which Richards wrote the main riff, topped the Billboard Hot 100 and became a rock icon with over 10 million copies sold. The Rolling Stones released over 30 studio albums, selling 200 million copies worldwide, with masterpieces such as 1971's Sticky Fingers, 1972's Exile on Main Saint, and 1978's Some Girls. Richards co-wrote over 100 songs with Jagger, from Gimme Shelter to Start Me Up, which Rolling Stone ranked among the 500 greatest songs of all time. He won 3 Grammy Awards, including the 1988 Lifetime Achievement Award, and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1989. He made his solo debut with Talk Is Cheap in 1988, which peaked at number 24 on the Billboard 200, and performed with the Ex-Pensive Winos. He appeared in Pirates of the Caribbean as Captain Teague, which grossed over $2 billion for the series. In 2023, Hackney Diamonds topped the UK Albums Chart, becoming the Rolling Stones' 11th #1 album. However, Richards' career has not been without setbacks. Their Satanic Majesty's Request in 1967 was criticized for lacking direction, prompting him to cry when reading a review in The Times, believing the band had lost their way. Dirty Work in 1986, during a tense period with Jagger, only reached #4 on the Billboard 200, leaving him crying in his New York studio, fearing that the Rolling Stones would break up. A 1977 controversy, when he was arrested for heroin possession in Toronto, nearly landed him in jail for 7 years. He cried in court, believing his career and family were falling apart. He faced failing health after falling from a coconut tree in Fiji in 2006, requiring brain surgery in New Zealand. He cried in his hospital room, fearing he would never play guitar again. Addiction problems in the 1970s saw him labeled a destructive junkie, and he wept as he read reviews in NME, wondering if he would ever make a comeback. He also flopped with his 1992 solo album, Main Offender, which peaked at number 99 on the Billboard 200, and he cried as he watched the audience leave the stage in Chicago. Keith Richards' career struggles have made him cry more than once. When he recorded Satisfaction in 1965, he worked through the night to perfect the guitar riff, and cried when the song topped the Billboard charts, feeling like his dream had come true. In 1972, when Exile on Main Street was critically acclaimed, he cried as the audience applauded at Madison Square Garden, feeling recognized. In 1989, when the Rolling Stones were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he cried on stage, thinking about their journey from Dartford to the top. In 2023, when Hackney Diamonds topped the charts, he cried backstage in London, feeling like he had overcome personal hardships. He shared with Billboard in 2023 that he played music to connect with the audience, and that every time he cried, he felt their hearts beat with his. He cried reading a letter from a Liverpool fan, thanking him for helping them through their grief, and from a young musician who said he was an inspiration at Abbey Road Studios. He remembered the nights spent practicing in his Chelsea flat, crying when he thought he wasn't good enough, but still pushing on for the love of the guitar. What Keith Richards has always strived to achieve is to become a legendary musician, an influential philanthropist, and an inspiration to generations. From the start, in 1962, he dreamed of creating music that would last. He achieved this with the Rolling Stones, with over 30 albums and 200 million records sold, from Aftermath to Hackney Diamonds. He wrote over 100 songs, with 14 of them making Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. He has won 3 Grammys, has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and was ranked 4th on Rolling Stone's list of the 100 greatest guitarists in 2011. He published his autobiography, Life, in 2010, which sold more than 1 million copies, and the children's book Gus and Me in 2014, which was praised by the New York Times. He is a philanthropist, donating more than $5 million between 2010 and 2023 to organizations such as UNICEF and MusiCares, which supports children and artists in need. He was appointed a Dartford Goodwill Ambassador in 2014 and received the Connecticut Governor's Award of Excellence in 2025. His collection of 3,000 guitars is a symbol of his passion. He cried when receiving letters from viewers, from an elderly man thanking him for Shine a Light, bringing back memories, to a student who called him a role model at Sidcup Art College. He told W. Korea in 2023 that his greatest achievement was to make the audience feel the love in every note and to be remembered as an artist who lived for art and humanity. Keith Richards' love and marriage have been a tumultuous journey, with great joys and deep sorrows. Before meeting Patty Hansen, he was in a 13-year relationship with Anita Pallenberg from 1967 to 1980. They met when Anita was a model in Paris and quickly became an iconic couple of the 1970s. However, the relationship was tumultuous due to both their addictions. He cried when Anita almost died from an overdose in 1975, and his greatest sadness was the death of their son Tara, which drove them apart. He remembers the nights at Villa Nelcote, crying as Anita struggled with addiction, wondering if he could have saved her. After splitting from Anita, he met Patty Hansen at Studio 54 in 1979 on her birthday. He wrote in Life that he was drawn to Patty's beauty and joy for life. They married on December 18, 1983, his 40th birthday, at the Finisterra Hotel in Cabo San Lucas. Marriage to Patty brought stability, but it was not without its challenges. He cried when Patty was diagnosed with bladder cancer in 2007 and was by her side during chemotherapy and surgery at Mount Sinai Hospital. He told Howard Stern in 2023 that he feared losing Patty and that the days waiting for test results were hell. Patty, however, overcame the illness, and they celebrated 40 years of marriage in 2023. He tearfully posted a wedding photo on Instagram, writing, "I love you, Patricia." His marital woes included arguments over his busy schedule, which left him crying when Patty said she felt lonely in their Connecticut home. Still, he found joy in Patty's company, telling Vogue in 2023 that she was my everything. Keith Richards' children were a source of both joy and pain, with 5 children from 2 relationships, only 4 of whom survived. With Anita Pallenberg, he had 3. Marlon Leon Sundeep Richards, born in 1969, Angela Richards, originally Dandelion, born in 1972, and Tara Jo Gunna, born in 1976, but who died 2 months later. Marlon grew up in the turbulent era of the Rolling Stones, often witnessing his parents' addictions. He remembers Marlon, age 10, asking him why he was taking heroin, leaving him crying in his New York apartment, feeling like a failure as a father. Marlon is now an artist, living in Los Angeles, and he cried when he saw Marlon's paintings on display in 2022, proud that his son had overcome a difficult childhood. Angela, who lives in London, is a fashion designer. He cried when Angela got married in 2014, feeling she had found the happiness he had failed to give her as a child. Tara's death was the biggest pain, and he cried whenever he spoke of the boy, as he did in a 2023 interview with The Independent. With Patty Hansen, he had 2 daughters, Theodora Dupree Richards, born in 1985, and Alexandra Nicole Richards, born in 1986, both born in New York. Theodora is an artist and model and co-authored Gus